mob killed his family. Now they're gonna pay.
This city belongs to me.
Hello everyone and welcome to a very special 4th of July edition of GameSpot of Thrones. You might notice we're in a slightly different location. The air conditioning in our studio is not working, so we're in the lovely breakout area.
It felt like we were like those cars that got burnt alive. We were sat in there.
Yeah, it was damp.
Toasty.
It was moist,
Yep.
it was gross. So we're out here. I'm Lucy, joined as usual by Dave.
Hello.
And Tamar.
Hello.
So we thought we'd do a little bit of a post-mortem on season 6. Because, you know, it's still fresh in our minds.
And our hearts.
And our hearts. Also because, you know, I'm just sad it's gone.
Yep.
Also spoilers, but you know that.
All up in here.
All right, season 6, it's over. What were our favourite bits? Let's start with those. Tamar.
I think for me, it was the big moment for me was Daenerys the Unburnt, as she's been called online.
Volume 2.
Yeah.
Daenerys the Unburnt,
Yeah.
Mother of Dragons, Breaker of Chains, Queen of the Andals and the Seven Kingdoms. And blah, blah, blah.
Exactly.
accept
All
my
of that.
LinkedIn.
Yeah, please. I'd like to add you to my professional network. But the last 2 seasons, most of season 6 and the entirety of season 5, I'd say, was spent taking power away from her. And so, like, for the last half of this season, we finally got to see her becoming Khaleesi once again and kind of taking that back. She spent all this time freeing slaves and, you know, fighting these oppressors and being a generally good person. And then she kind of hit a wall at one point and was like, well, now I'm going to get kidnapped and now I'm going to get stuck with these Dothraki for ages.
Yeah.
So we were like, what's going on? It was almost as if like she was moving too fast for the rest of the story. Like everyone else needed to get to a point where, you know, they were good for her to come over and be like, all right, guys, I'm going to sort this stuff out now. But she went a bit too fast, so they kind of had to just leave her in a kidnapped position for a little while. But she took care of business. She took out the, you know, Dothraki, got her dragons back on side, and now is ready to roll again. It's that powerful feeling. Like everyone online is like, yes, Khaleesi is back.
Because in the book, when like Daenerys' interim bit just goes on forever.
Yeah.
She's just sat in Marine, the whole marriage stuff, the bloody fighting pits.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad she got somewhere this
Yeah,
season.
she's earned her title of Khaleesi back again.
Finally. All right, so we enjoyed. I'm glad Daenerys is, you know, finally up and
Yeah.
at them. What else did you enjoy?
I like to see Jon Snow abandoning his watch. So he's always been this character that he's the people's champion, right? Everyone loves him, but all we've seen of him is him getting trodden on non-stop.
some happy little face.
just look at my little scrumpled up hair.
Hey, don't talk about the hair.
So he's been like stepped on from the outset. Like he's referred to as the bastard. Obviously Ned gave him a little bit of respect, but there was always this undertone of like segregation with everyone else, even his brothers.
Yeah.
Perhaps maybe less so with Arya.
Well, that was because of Catelyn's influence, right?
Yeah,
'Cause she
exactly.
was not happy.
Yeah, so it's always been like, and since then, it's been one thing after another for him, like bad rap after bad rap. He's gone to the wall, stuff didn't go well there. Then he had this very brief period where he was happy where he met Ygritte, and that ended very poorly for him. But like now, this moment was like this triumphant moment where he's finally seems like he's taking like his own destiny into his own hands. So the first thing he did was he got killed. It was almost like an awakening for him. He needed to die to realize that I can't rely on other people. So he comes back and he's like, firstly, Ollie, you little shit, I'm gonna hang you. And it was amazing because like they kind of, he flirted with a little bit of like emotion and kind of remorse at the idea, but it was very, very fleeting. Like he was like, maybe, no, I'm just going to yank it. And I was like, yeah, that's it. And you could see he got a bit of satisfaction out of killing Ollie and the people that betrayed him. And then he obviously throws off his cloak and is like, my watch is over, my watch has ended, I'm done. And that was like, yes, finally. And since then, he's he's had success after success, right? Like not unequivocal successes, but still successes. He won the Battle of the. He's taken out one of the most reviled characters in the entire series, right? And that's kind of a big win for him and for us. He's like proved himself to be King Bastard. Like,
Yeah.
there's
King
no
in the
bastard. Yeah,
North.
King in the North. And now obviously, he's King in the North.
Gonna chant that for a really
Yeah.
long, awkward amount of time.
He's one of the few characters to be reunited with his family again.
Yeah.
So he's got Sansa on side, and she's pretty powerful now, and she can maybe do something like legitimize him. And he is, like we said, King in the North. He's got experience with the White Walkers now. He's in a good place. This is like a triumphant kind of like second wind for Jon Snow, where he's the master of his own destiny, which I really appreciate. I enjoyed seeing that.
My watch is ended.
So my final moment is we got to see how the White Walkers were created. I'm a big fan of lore,
Origin stories.
origin stories.
White Walker
It's like,
Origins, issue 1.
This is the most anime moment of the series so far.
Weird elf people making monsters that
So
they
you're
can't
like,
control.
what? Yeah, because 6 seasons we've had now.
Yeah.
5 seasons, sorry, and we've had very little information about the White Walkers, right?
Yeah.
There's almost nothing. But then it's the same with like the wood people. What they called? What is
Children
their
of the
official? Children of the
Yeah.
forest. The wood
The
folk.
wood people.
The wood folk
Wood
is what
elves.
I call them.
Listen, right, you're just messing up all the lore. Can you just stop? It's stressing me out.
Like we got to see we learned a little more about them as well. So they created the White Walkers. So they were created as a defense against mankind, the first men who were coming to them. And then eventually it was like, Terminator shit happened, and they were like, actually we can be our own people.
Yeah.
And they turned around and become this unstoppable force that is just slowly careening towards Westeros now.
So basically what you're saying is the White Walkers are Cylons.
Exactly. Yeah, the Cylons, they're the Terminators basically. And I'm a big fan of Cylons and Terminators.
Yeah.
Now who's messing up the law?
All right, Dave, what about you?
My favourite moment was probably one of the more morbid ones. It was the death of Ramsay himself.
Ramsay.
Ramsay Lamau. That was a death like I think we've all been waiting for a number of seasons now.
Yeah. I'm
Like-
kind of sad he's gone, you know.
Well, who are we going to direct our hate towards now? Like he was really the hate magnet.
Who are we going to direct our attraction towards?
You got a weird taste in like Game of Thrones characters.
He's hot.
Also a mega raper and like kidnapper
Murderer and just
killer.
Everything wrong about a
Listen,
person
James.
ever.
We need to have a talk later on.
Right, we'll have an intervention later.
Yeah.
Once we've
All
recorded
right.
to this, like we'll go and talk about
Yeah.
that big problem. But his death, the beautiful irony of this monster being killed by his own hounds was
Yeah.
amazing. Like
Because there was no CGI budget left for Ghost.
so it had to be his own hands.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking to you before, and I thought that there's kind of a horrific symmetry to it. So the first time we see him truly become when he becomes the Lord of Winterfell, it's when he stabs his father and kills his father,
Everyone knows that that Roose Bolton got poisoned, okay?
poisoned.
The
So that's-
dog's poisoned him.
The knife poison.
Poisoned with the blade.
Oh, I've died of bleeding poison. I've got too much steel in me.
There's just a suspicious looking dog in the background like,
That was the secret all along. So him killing his father
Yeah.
sees his power, and then he lures his father's wife and her newborn
Fat Walder.
to the kennels,
Rip.
and then sets his dogs on like a newly born child.
Literally rip.
Yeah, and literally
Blech.
destroyed a poor woman and her newborn. And then we see Sansa, and if the theories are to be believed, she is also with child.
Sansa's
So
brag.
it's Ramsay setting dogs on a mother and child, and it ends with a mother and child setting the dogs on him.
Beautiful.
it's also kind of
Also
like,
horrific.
Yeah.
there's a satisfaction in, like, obviously Bastard Bowl happened, but he's always been the kind of like, I'm the best bastard. Like, look how successful I am. And then Jon Snow comes back and is like, actually, I think you'll find
you after.
I'm
I think
number
you'll
one
find.
bastard. So it's like, you get a satisfaction of seeing these two bastards face off, and the better of them, the more morally uncorruptible of them, come out on top, which I appreciate.
Because that really felt like a good and evil fight.
Yeah.
That was like the clearest the lines have been drawn, where one guy is unequivocally good and the other guy is like pure, unadulterated evil. And then we get to see like one of the most horrific deaths of the show in its entirety.
Crunchy, jaw-crunching death.
stop.
Ugh.
My hounds will never harm me.
You haven't fed them in 7 days, you said it yourself.
They're loyal beasts.
They were. Now they're starving.
Also, Jon Snow punched him a whole bunch of times, and
Did
it
you
was
count?
it was 21 or
21?
22, something like that. And each punch was like for us. That wasn't for
It's a
like any.
vengeful
There was
punch.
no cinematography purpose behind it. It was just for you guys. Just watch this guy get punched over and over again.
Well,
And we're
speaking
like,
of that
yes.
punch, there's the intro to that leads me on to my second favorite moment, which is the introduction of Lyanna Mormont.
What an excellent segue.
The tiny
was-
bear lord lady of the Bear Island. Like, we are a big fan of sass,
Yep.
and we're a big fan of badass characters,
Yep.
and she is both, and like a third of our age.
Yeah.
Oh, she's so
Like, if I could have been like that when I was a kid, never been bullied at all.
like.
Just start setting my 40-something men on everyone.
Was it no like 60, 62?
Yeah,
Something
62.
like that. And she was
Something
just
like
and
that.
she was like, yeah, but we know that we
Yeah.
matter.
Well, that was the thing. Like, the Davos, Jon, and Sansa had to work for those men, and they had to take the field of abuse for those men.
The smack she lays down on Sansa when she's like, what
Yeah.
are you, a Stark? Are you a Bolton? Are you a Lannister?
Are you
like,
a Littlefinger? What are
even
you?
are you?
And now she considers Jon Snow a Stark, probably more than she considers
Yeah.
Sansa. But the connection I was mentioning is that she gave like a paltry number of men, but was like, no, the badasses
my
though.
boys.
And then you see, just as Jon is running at
Yeah.
Ramsay, he uses one of the Mormont shields to block the arrows. So you know that at least one of those Mormonts got to the gates of Winterfell.
She has vision. She's got confidence, like already, and she's like what 10 years old. I was
Yeah.
like,
and
trust me.
she turned the opinions of like all the lords
Yeah.
of the north
By
just-
shaming them.
Yeah, putting the smackdown on Lord Glover.
Yeah.
Like, listen, you punk.
I love
you
that.
coward.
I love that she was on the battlefield as well. She
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
like just making sure everything was
It's
in
cool,
order.
yeah, yeah.
I wonder where she was like during the whole crunching scene, because she surely wasn't in that. She was like hiding in the trees, like,
She's just on a
damn.
hill,
And
like,
Vanguard.
Jesus, what are you guys doing over there?
She's pretending to be one of the guys, Littlefinger, just charge in.
Yeah, Knights of the Vale.
I'm with you.
But House Mormont remembers. The North remembers. We know no king, but the king in the North whose name is Stark. I don't care if he's a bastard. Ned Stark's blood runs through his veins. He's my king, from this day until his last day.
And then I don't think we can mention things we loved without the love that we all want to happen. Giants Bay.
Oh
Giants
my
Bay.
god.
The moment that those two met eyes and Tormund's eyes just dropped, it felt like the moment.
His eyebrow game.
It felt like the moment in The Mask where his jaw drops and his eyes pop out of his head, but like in a Game of Thrones sense. And then over like the course of episodes, we just see him like sneaking looks and
It wasn't even just sneaking looks. He'd be like raising his eyebrows, like,
then like seductively eating a chicken leg.
That's the thing, like he never spoke to her, did he? He just sort of
Barely.
he kind of breathed in her direction a few times from across the table, like,
Eating another chicken leg. We know how much the community loves this little relationship and how much they want it to happen. You just only
Yeah.
have to look at the number of memes and photoshops of the two together,
yeah.
and you know, like I hope this.
I think it's really loved because it was so unexpected. Because they've spent all this time building up Tormund as this this fearsome warrior. That what did he like kill a bear or something?
No,
fucked a bear.
He fucked a bear. He did something bad to a bear, and like he's like this he's the most wildling there is, right? He's got a giant beard.
Peak wildling.
You know, he's peak wildling, covered in furs, carries a massive weapon, and he's all like rough and rugged. And then sees like this lady and is like, "Hey, how's it going?" He becomes like a little teenager.
And in a universe where people are lusting after like characters like Melisandre and all the lovely ladies of
that's why it's
King's
so
Landing,
nice.
Yeah.
and then Tormund's like,
And there's like a
Great looking
charming
woman.
innocence to the way they do it, right? You get different types of approaching like love interest in this series. You get like Littlefinger, who's like mega creepy about it.
And yet,
you get,
I'm still attracted to
yeah.
him.
Littlefinger and Ramsay. What's
something
wrong
wrong
with
Can't
you?
with
help it, right? He's just something
I
alluring
know
about
some people
him.
like a bad boy. But I think you're taking it too far.
Yeah, not weird, like
Ben Linus was also my favorite character on Lost. I'm sensing a weird theme.
old people.
Ah, the conniving one.
So like you have those ones, and you have people who are like aggressive, like weird, rapey, and then like you get people like Khal Drogo, who's just like subjugation. But his one's like a really innocent, like
Just likes
almost like
her.
childlike, like schoolboy style flirting. Like,
Who's going to
hey,
start pulling her pigtails
Yeah.
because he doesn't know how to flirt
gonna be
properly?
throwing a tennis ball at her and stuff.
I like you. Runs away.
Yeah, get his mate to go over and be like, "Can you
Pass her
get
a note.
over here?"
Get
Scrolling
a
class.
1-1.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Oh, no.
Oh
too
no,
soon.
why have you done this?
Now we're all sad.
My highlight was probably Cersei's slow but certain descent into full-on Mad Queen, especially because it got seeded throughout pretty much the whole season. Because the end of season 5, Cersei's obviously, she's downbeat, she's just done a naked walk and she's feeling pretty sorry for herself. But then, like throughout the whole season, you get to see like when she has those conversations with Qyburn, like the whispered conversations about the rumors. And then not just a Great Fleetwood Mac album, but the rumors with Qyburn, and then she's got Qyburn getting all the little kids,
Little
little
birds.
sparrow, little
Birds.
birds, to kind of do that. And then we also see with Bran's visions, we also see like all the wildfire. So it's just nice that it kind of all comes together. And then just the way that scene was shot. Like the opening of episode 10 with that piece of music as well, which I've pretty much been listening to nonstop. It's called like The Lord of Light, I think, or Light of the Seven.
What was great about that music is I commented when we were watching it, like it made me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But like then you realize it's by design.
I watched
Yeah.
it back and replaced it with dubstep.
Of course.
Call
SMR.
911 now. Wow, ba, ba, ba.
Oh. But no, I thought it was amazing, and just the way that that morning as well, everyone's like, "Oh, where's Cersei? She can't possibly miss this."
Yeah.
And then you just know something's up, and the way that the little birds are just conveniently placed, and the way that Lancel gets what's coming to him, gets shanked.
You know what I really loved? She was wearing pretty much the same outfit as Tywin was when he was briefly king.
There is a really great
Yeah.
piece with the costume director who said that was
Yeah.
like basically their big influence.
It looked very similar, and I was like, oh, it's got a little bit of
Yeah.
symmetry. It's you're just like your crazy ass dad.
I just got the Michael Jackson outfit vibes, to be honest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty much. But
pretty
also, it's just sort of like we always take the piss out of Cersei because all of her harebrained schemes basically don't really work. But this one, she's actually thought out really well. Like, she goaded the Tyrells into joining forces and working together. So all the Tyrells were there for Marjorie and Loras's. Well, they rescued Marjorie from her own, like,
Yeah.
the walk
Yeah.
of shame, right? And then she goaded them into working together. But Olenna pissed off because she knew something wasn't quite right.
Yeah.
So she got rid of basically all of her enemies in one fell swoop, apart from Dawn. But
Yeah.
everyone forgot they existed anyway.
Well, it's like we said last week, right? It's hard to fail when your option is a nuclear weapon, basically.
Yeah.
It's like
She got rid of everyone. She's in charge. She got the mountain. She got Qyburn's now the
hand of the
Hand of the
king.
king.
Yeah.
hand of the.
He's wearing the
It's got the little pin,
yeah.
but
But Tyrion's got one, so I'm hoping that when they meet, they just like fight them like their little figures, like mine's stronger.
but another moment I really, really enjoyed was the Tower of Joy.
There we go.
Because I needed that resolution. I was kind of pissed that it took them
The
like
entire season.
the entire season.
Did they went to the Tower of Joy in very early in the season,
Like
right?
episode
2
2 or something.
and then like that is crazy.
Over the course of a
It's
season, they
like-
get like a foot closer to the
Yeah.
it
actual
would have been
door.
amazing if they just went full on with it, like open the door in episode 1, and then episode 2 just like walk through, end of the season, just walk through it and be
Like 20 frames
Yeah.
of the Tower of Joy.
per episode, yeah, just
Or like a
door.
Tyler Durden freeze frame in every
It's
episode.
like a Resident Evil door opening animation over the course of 20 episodes of a series.
Oh, no, but I'm just glad that they finally opened the door. We got the Promise Me Ned. You got the got the resolution that very serious looking baby would turn into a very serious looking young man.
And obviously the lore stuff that
Yeah.
may or may not pay off.
Yeah,
the-
seeded more fan
Yeah.
theories about like the blood and the
Fan
sword.
theories. Oh yeah. So I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I'm glad it has an answer.
the stuff before it as well, like the battle leading up to it.
Oh,
the
yeah.
kind of, you know, seeing young Ned, that dude that they cast as young Ned, well done. He looks like a
young Neil Patrick Harris
Yeah.
with an incredible Sean Bean impression.
Yeah.
He was.
that was
he
a great casting, and obviously the battle with his buddy, you know, the legend that they have.
Oh, Howland
and,
Reed. Yeah.
That was interesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it did take a long time to pay off, but it was always going to take a long time, right? That was literally the most important thing that they had to reveal this season.
Yeah.
And if they did it early on, it'd peak too high,
Yeah.
too early, and that would be it. So yeah.
I never thought I'd say this, but my other favorite moment also involved Bran, which is, you know, like.
Bran did like a 180 in our hearts
Yeah.
over the course of 10 episodes.
Oh, Bran. Which was to hold the door, because I just thought it was incredibly sad,
Yeah.
but it was so well done. And just like the guy's name, Sam Coleman, he did an incredible job of like just that really heartbreaking moment with the hold the door.
The problem I have with it is I like that moment. It's very sad. It was touching, but like Bran continues to be an annoying, useless little git. So, like,
Bran keeps making so many mistakes,
Yeah.
ruining so many people's
And
lives.
every time he does it, I'm like, Hodor sacrificed himself for you, and you're letting him down.
Yeah.
And like, I would rather have Hodor has been more effective than Bran, and Bran's got this like destiny to be the three-eyed raven, his magical warg and
Yeah.
bullshit. But like, Hodor's been way more effective than you. He's done way more. Like, get rid of. You should make him the three-eyed raven instead. He'd be badass.
The worst part about that scene is that I can no longer ask someone to hold the door in a lift without
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
sad.
It's a bit sad, isn't it? Yeah.
Hold the door. Oh.
Hold the door! 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 Hold the door!
Moving on then. So we had the dizzying highs.
Crushing lows
Now
coming
it's
up.
time for
Tedious
them
lows.
tedious, bit kind of fillery lows. Tam, which was your least favorite bits?
So my main, I hated. So I've ranked these on hated, disliked, and no, I don't
Barely
care,
tolerated.
barely tolerated. Hated.
Yeah.
Dawn. Everything in Dawn. Sand snakes.
Dawn disappoints me.
Yeah. I mean, I've not read the books, so I don't know if. I mean, you've said before that the sand snakes are a little cooler in the books, but
They are badass in the
yeah,
books.
and they seem like they have the potential to be badass in the show as well. But there's something about them when they're together. Their bants is just so annoying.
That's
Hello,
the most.
sister.
that's the most
Banksbot
irritating-
001.
Exactly.
Banksbot. You
Yeah.
referenced Futurama there.
Yeah.
That's the most irritating part of Dawn, like the wasted potential part that you
Yeah.
mentioned. Like they had the potential to be super cool.
And there was that whole bit where one of them decided to just show a boob for,
Yeah.
for an episode.
For a
It was
cell.
like really weird. Like, why you do? And they had a relationship, right?
Her and
Her and,
her and Bron were gonna have
Bron,
a thing.
yeah. For like one episode, they were an item, and then Bron just like
I feel like
jetpacked
I
away.
feel like the writers were like, oh no, people like Bron, get him out,
Get him out of there, yeah. The annoying thing is that what they achieved or what they did was actually quite important to the overall story, right? So they got rid of Prince Doran and
Well,
basically
they're not supposed to.
Yeah, they're not supposed to, but like within this the kind of
Yeah.
architecture of this narrative within the TV series, it's important because they've effectively aligned themselves with the Tyrells against the Lannisters, and the Lannisters are now impacted. But they did it at the very start of the season, so no one remembers anything that happened
But the thing is,
until
like,
the very end.
In the book, they did that, and Doran was alive. It was like Doran had been a Targaryen loyalist for years, and he could have
Yeah.
led them all. But
And what was Doran's purpose? Like,
I don't know. Like
he literally did nothing. He was there. He was like, "I'm well sick. My brother's well dead."
he's meant to have
And then he got
gout.
ganked.
Yeah, and then he got.
And that was it. And the other thing is like, Dawn as a place was quite disappointing. It was like every major city in the series so far they spend the time to give it an identity, right? And they give it like a little
Yeah.
time to present it and give it a personality as a place. Like you have King's Landing being this
Yeah.
opulent place and Winterfell being this really cool. Dawn is like, as far as we know, it's hot and yellow.
No, Dawn
give
as
it
we know it is that one palace, and there are no
Exactly.
denizens.
Like spend some time just
And we know there's sand
Yeah.
outside somewhere.
there are no
like
citizens.
the
in Dawn.
motivations of the like a lot of the motivations of the people of the characters within the major players within the cities can be seen in like the people, right? And how they, you know, how they're loved or disliked among the people is important to the story. Whereas with Dawn, you've got none of that. You're like, who
Well,
are
apparently
these people?
everyone
They're
loves
just-
everyone in Dawn except the Sand Snakes, who hate everyone.
Yeah.
It's just so weird. Like, and obviously we had Oberon was the best part of Dawn. Like, and we we barely saw him there. He was just a representative, and he was a badass.
Yeah.
And even he screwed up like an idiot. Just confirm your kills, god damn it.
Kill confirmed. I do agree with a lot of the points that you made. The biggest thing that kind of irked me though is how Tyrion kind of just didn't matter. Like
Yeah.
everything he did just kind of got reset when Dany turned up.
Yeah.
The thing I found about Tyrion is that like they put him in Marine so he can be with Daenerys when she decides to come over, and he's got his pivotal role there. But they still need to justify Peter Dinklage being the top billing in the cast.
Yeah.
So like every episode they'll give him like a little speech or a fun story that doesn't add anything to the plot, or just like an awkward encounter with Grey Worm and Missandei. And
I
you're
know.
like,
Why don't we tell some jokes?
That was so awkward.
Why?
Yeah.
No.
And he started a joke and never finished it.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's my biggest season
Biggest
7
cliffhanger
prediction.
of season
Like,
6.
please finish your joke, Tyrion. And when the Sons of the Harpy were being a real pain in the ass,
Yeah.
like they were like, okay, let's kill him. Tyrion was like, no, we got to secure peace.
Yeah.
They secure like a really awkward,
Tenuous.
fragile piece, and they turn up and besiege the city, and Danny's like, just kill him.
Yeah,
kill,
just kill him.
kill
Take
two,
him
let
on.
one duck.
Yeah.
So like none of his actions really made a difference.
No.
He sent like Varys disappears and gets Dawn on side. So he really did more.
To be
Tyrion
fair,
he was basically just he was the guy that you send in to keep the plants watered and the pets fed when you go on holiday.
Yeah.
And then
And that's
Danny
exactly
comes
what I
back
did.
and is like, yeah, it's all right. Like, plants a bit wilty. I'll sort that out. You
He
can't
helped,
actually rely on
out.
he helped like breathe some life back into the city, right? That's the one lasting impression that he left
Yeah.
of his presence there. So like he got, because by the end of the season, like the markets were bustling again and people were out and
You
about.
got the red priests and priestesses.
Yeah, on
on
That was
side.
another thing that actually annoyed me because we expected, or at least I expected, the Red Priestess to be a big plot point because she was given time in the entire season 6 trailer. We were like, oh, cool, second Red Woman. And then she was like, yeah, I'll talk about Danny, and then leaves. And then we never see anything again.
Yeah.
We just see
Yeah.
people being like, Danny is spot on, mate.
Yeah.
Good. You got them dragons.
Put up some flags, sell your eggplants and vegetables. Don't kill each other, and then Sons of the Harpy actually do come back anyway. So again, it's just another inconsequential moment.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that they had to start to ship Missandei and Grey Worm just to make those characters interesting, just to give
Yeah.
it a little bit more
Just
line.
awkward.
I mean, they were a full-on
Bants.
couple beforehand, right? Like they were doing the
Well.
dirty in season 5.
No,
No, they
he
were
was
flirting.
looking at her having a wash.
Yeah.
That counts for me. That's enough for me.
The bit I didn't really like this season was like just how Arya's storyline in Bravos culminated. I thought it was a bit disappointing. I guess because like you see her getting whacked by the waif, like week in, week out. You see the waif just completely kicking her ass, and then she does her weird out of character thing that I'm not entirely convinced the waif would have fallen for because she's so out there with it, and she's slamming money down, being really obvious, walking around. I don't think the waif is that stupid. But then, so when you get to that final confrontation scene where she's like, she cuts the candle, we as the viewer don't get the satisfaction of watching the waif die. We just get to see her face with the eyes gouged out, put in the Hall of Faces. That annoyed me. And also just the way that she sort of, like Jaqen brought her to the House of Black and White and trained her and, tried to make her no one. And then he finally says, you are no one. And she goes, all right, peace out. That's it.
Bye.
Thanks for
I owe
training.
you absolutely nothing. Bye. And just leaves. And jetpacks away. Again, I mean, we've spoken before about how I'm going to come out and say how bad the passage of time is been in this season. I think Arya, Yara and Theon and particularly Varys are ones that have really suffered from that just because it's so
A lot
irritating.
of people mention, obviously there is time passing in between these, but I mean, there's ways of showing that, and this season the show has made no attempt of doing that.
Yeah.
Like for anyone, most people will see these things. Most people won't pay too much mind to it, but for people who are, does come off as feeling a bit inconsistent, a bit weird with the passage of time, and at the same time as stuff like flashbacks and time traveling, all this other crazy stuff happening, you're like, what is? It's kind of like it skews your perspective of time.
Yeah.
I think it's something that we bring up a lot, and a lot of people are like, "Come on, guys," but we're like, it's an important thing, right?
Yeah.
It took us out, like, segueing a bit from the Arya thing, but when we saw Varys, it took us out of the moment so much that we were like, is he a faceless man then? Because
Yeah.
he's travelled real far,
Yeah.
real fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we just worked out that boat.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing about Arya's thing as well is that we've spent however long in the House of Black and White, and we're still no closer to really understanding how the faceless man thing works.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
pull a face off and just...
Pull a face off, or do you need to get one from the wall?
Holy
Because then how
crap.
would you take that to Westeros? Because, like, would it not need to keep moisturized in a bag or something?
Just
You
a
know what I mean?
Ziploc bag full of, like, formaldehyde. Just be like, got one.
Yeah.
I've just realized.
Hmm.
Have you guys seen Face Off? What if he was? John
So-
Travolta is a faceless man.
Don't
It's not a
do
Nicolas
this.
Oh
Cage
my
movie.
god! I have to go, guys.
There's a thread I need to write.
Oh, to Reddit.
I have fanfic to write.
Well, it's been a good 10 weeks we've been prattling on about Game of Thrones. So
Yeah.
sadly, GameSpot of Thrones, there won't be any weekly episodes anymore because what we're going to talk about, you know? But every
I'm sure
time...
you'd find something.
To be
Yeah.
honest, I will just talk about my Littlefinger fanfic or something. But until season 7 starts, you know, if there's ever any whisper of news, if George decides to release the book, which he might not do, to be
Probably
honest.
not, no.
Probably doesn't
Too
need
busy
to.
rolling around in money.
Yeah. TV money.
Or if the, you know, new trailers, special editions of the Blu-rays as well, some interesting behind-the-scenes tidbits. We will be there, we'll be jumping on it. But thank you so much for joining us all this time and listening to us prattle on. It's been a real fun show to do.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, you can find us all on Twitter.
I'm at Tamor H.
I'm at Irregular Dave.
And I'm Elise James Games. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.